Hello. This movie sets out to demonstrate what's new in the iSMM, the new global standard method of measurement. We're going to start by looking at the website. Here it is, Ostrowski on quantities, and the address is Ostrowski quantities, and when you go there you can see that there is a new section for global iSMM. Here are the movies, and here's the global iSMM manual itself in PDF version, and here's the master measurement that demonstrates how the measurement works on a complete measurement for a whole office block. So the actual document itself is screen based and it's an Excel spreadsheet. So those are the first two innovations. The next one is that the measurement is based on location. The work is measured where it is located. It's not based on trades, and it stays where it's located throughout the whole life of the building. This is what it looks like. Here's the first section, the location, or the elements as it's sometimes called, section 1, and it's got the usual substructure and superstructure and the rest of it for services on subsequent pages, and you can see the usual format for the location of the work. The remainder of the method of measurement is taken up with the specification. The first section is, as you'd expect, all the usual trades. The third one is the materials. The fourth one is what component it is, and a detailed description in section 5, and more details, particularly concerning measurements about dimensions and diameters and depths and things like that. The advantage of the location is that it provides a stability. The changes to the specification can be immediately identified, and the location is always going to be in the same place, and so the measurement will always be in the same place as well. The next innovation is coding, a new unique coding system which gives each and every line item a unique number. This is what it looks like for the precast concrete cladding that we've got in our building. Here are the numbers coming through. In the location, it's location 09. For the section, it's section 12, the cladding. For the material, it's a series of codes that's available for precast concrete, and for the component, a further series of codes available for precast concrete cladding, and in the description a series of 4 codes that are available, and any further details that might be available from the specification as appropriate, and it sets out, of course, how to measure it. And so it continues through the various materials in this particular section. In terms of the coding, here is the coding in larger numbers, and the coding is 09 from here, 12, 02, and that becomes 09.12.01.01.01.00. So we've got 6 different components to the coding, and that unique coding item remains with that item throughout the life of the building also. This is what it looks like in the actual measurement. You can see here the unit, the line item that we're measuring on the spreadsheet. Here is the code, here is the element and the description and the calculations that are necessary to give us length, width and depth, the unit that we're measuring in, the total quantity, the price and the cost. It therefore provides a consistent methodology that is always available. The coding remains the same throughout the life of the project, and of course such coding is eminently suitable for the creation of a database. The next item is insulation as a new innovation. I've created a whole new section for insulation. You can see the waterproofing coming through here, and then we've got the thermal insulation and the pipework insulation and ductwork insulation on the following page coming through, and finally acoustic and vibration isolation. This is a new section because it's to all intents and purposes a new trade and can be measured as such. Services are a complete new remeasure. Services take up 50% of the total contract and therefore deserve a substantial standard method, and that's what this iSMM provides. Here is a summary only of the major sections in the mechanical services: plumbing, heating, cooling, ventilation and air conditioning, and a series of sections with detailed descriptions for each one of these items, and the following page provides an example on the plumbing, the sanitary ware, where the pipe work, where you've got what section it is, what material it's made of, its components, description, details, particularly in this case of course concerning diameters for pipe work. The electrical services has a similar detailed standard method. Again, here's a summary. There are 10 separate sections for the electrical service and a host of subsections dealing with materials and components. The example here is power generation, which runs through the detailed description of materials and the components and descriptions of the ratings as appropriate for description and details. Testing and commissioning, I've created a new section for this on the basis that testing and commissioning is now quite significant, and it ought to have a separate section. Testing and commissioning has all the various trades and a section of item in each case for which trade and all the tests and operations that are applicable to each of these trades as it goes through. And so you can see on the following page that we've got the plumbing, and in the plumbing there are all the tests that are applicable for plumbing, and the same for the heating and cooling, right the way through to the end of all the items in section 2. For the prelims, there's an innovation that separates the calculated figures for both the project costs and the site costs, and there's a separate section for what I've described as estimated costs, which include the various risk items and overheads and profits. This section of course is particularly useful for the claim because it provides the significant cost items for the extensions of time and other elements of the claim. So that concludes our review of what's new in the new iSMM, the Global Standard Method of Measurement. Thank you.